Hey guys, so today I'm gonna make a lamb tagine or couscous. So this is a tradition in my family from my granny, which has lived in Morocco all her youth. She's born there. Well, she from Spanish parents, and she's born in Morocco and got the French culture there because it was invaded by the French. And then she moved back to France with my dad, my uncle, and the couscous. It's something that she was always make for us. So she taught my mother, so her daughter-in-law, to make sure my mother makes couscous for my dad. And then my mother taught me, it's not even my granny who taught me. I've seen her doing it, but my mother taught me how to do it with her little French twist. Anyway, so I found some proper halal mouton. So that would be good. You can do it with lamb. Usually I'm making it with lamb, but this it did look really good, this piece of meat. So I'm gonna do that. So it's nice to use a bit of lamb neck and some lamb fillet. A mixture of meat, a bit of bones to give the flavor. Yeah. So let's seal in a pan the lamb first. So we're gonna pour a little bit of olive oil, and then we're gonna seal the meat, yeah? So before talking about spices, let's talk about veggie. So we got some carrots, courgettes, some onions, some swede, and a bit of butternut squash. Of course, chickpea, and I got some chopped tomato in tins. And don't tell my granny that, but some celery, just tiny bit. Oh, and I forgot red peppers, just one red pepper. But the celery branch, that's my mother twist. When my granny knew about it, she said, "But what are you doing? A vegetable soup?" So that was funny. But just a tiny bit, and it makes like a depth of flavor. It adds on quite a bit. So I'm doing my mother way. But like just two branches, that'd be plenty. All right, so let's peel everything. Okay, so the carrot, I like them to keep chunky, yeah? So big pieces. So I'm gonna put all the big hard vegetable together and more the fragile one together because they'll have a different timing in a pan. Okay, so the meat is coloring nicely, both sides. Same with the swede, big chunk. Right, the lamb or the mutton is nice colored. Look at all the flavor in the pan. It's what you want. So we're gonna take the lamb out. It's not cooked, huh, but it's just sealed. Yeah. Okay, now it's time for the veggie. It will finish cooking in a broth. So chopped onions, in it. So the onion's gonna clean up the pan with all the suc. You see? Then here, so we have our butternut squash, the swede, and the carrots underneath. So that's all of that going. And let's mix all those hard vegetables first. They're gonna grab the flavor in it, on them, all the flavor of the suc. See, the pan start cleaning itself, and it goes on the veggie. Okay, so we're gonna let the veg warm up all together. And I get ready my chopped tomato. All right, time for fragile vegetables. So courgette again, cut chunky. Red peppers. Celery. There you go. Okay, so this has warmed up very nicely. See the pan? It's totally clean now. Magic. Let's pour our chopped tomato. Here I put 2 tins because I'm doing quite a big quantity. Lovely. Okay, and now we're gonna top up with water. Gonna wait for the first boil, and then we will add our fragile veggie and the meat back in. And then the spices. So spices. I got, of course, ras el hanout. It's a must. I'm gonna add a bit of paprika, a tiny bit of ground cloves, cumin, and coriander. So obviously in the ras el hanout there is already all of that, but I'm adding a little bit more until a very nice broth flavor that I like, and also a bit of cinnamon. So it's quite a lot of spice. Okay, so I got my chickpea, which are draining, but that will go right at the end. That meat, my fragile veggie, which is gonna go in a minute, and all my spices. All right, it's time to add our fragile vegetable. Ah, look at this color, beautiful. Then the meat back in. Okay, looks like we're gonna have to add a little bit of water to cover it. It's gonna evaporate anyway. Okay, that's lovely. Seasoning. Okay, black pepper. Salt. Let's tasty, and then we're gonna add the spices. Yeah, it's good. Right. Raser la note first. This raser la note, it's come from straight from Morocco. Beautiful. It has this kind of bright color. The turmeric does that. Okay, little bit of cumin. Little bit of paprika, sweet paprika. A tiny of clove. Little bit of ground coriander. And a bit of cinnamon. Okay. Let's mix all of this. It's gonna be delicious. All right, tasty. It's well spicy. Okay, we probably will arrange it later on, so it's gonna simmer for a good hour. Then we rectify the flavor if we need to. Add more of this, add more of that, more salt. It's all depend to you, really, guys. That's why every couscous is unique. Okay, let's let it simmer. So the couscous now has been simmer for an hour. The vegetables are nicely and cooked. The sauce has thickened a bit, reduced. So now I'm gonna add the chickpea. There you go. I'm stopping the cooking for now, but I did transfer the meat into a different pan with some of the vegetable stock into this pan with top up with water. So this mix of water and the stock to carry on the cooking of the meat, because this meat, I'm not used to it, and this meat, you see by the touch, is still quite hard, so it needs a bit more slow cooking so to get it very tender. Yeah, usually I'm making just with lamb, and the lamb it cooks so quickly and is tender in any ways, but the mutton is slightly tougher. So that's what we're gonna do. So vegetable out of the way because they're cooked. We don't want it to be mashed. So they're gonna cool down nicely here. And the meat's gonna carry on simmer. I might put a lid so it steams as well. So it will cook even quicker. And then we will be ready. Once that's done, with the stock, we're gonna caramelize some onion with raisins to add on our couscous when we eat it. It's delicious. So we make like sweet, salty. Lovely. All right, so caramelized onion with the raisins. So we're gonna nicely caramelize those onions first. Look at that. It's like really soft. So that's perfect. All right, so when they start coloring like that, I'm gonna put a stick of cinnamon. And a little bit of raisins. Well, I mean little bit. Same amount of raisin as onion. So something like that. Yeah. And we're gonna carry on cooking both together. Okay, now it has warmed up. The raisins are really warm, combined with the onions. So it's at this time we're gonna use some of the stock of our couscous. And it's gonna simmer gently. Puff off the raisins. It's gonna be nice and caramelized. Alright, so now we're gonna add a bit more stock because it has evaporated already. Slowly, slowly until very nice consistency. And voila, so that's done, you see. So that this will be sprinkled on top of your couscous plate. And it'll be lovely. So I'm just gonna switch it off, cover it, and warming it up when I'm plating the couscous. So let's plate it up, yeah? So a bit of semolina that I've just made. We're gonna do a small plate. Allez. Courgette, swede. Yeah, that's a bit of everything. And a piece of lamb. Whoa. And the final touch, little bit of raisins, like that, with caramelized onion. Oh my god, look at this! Okay, let's test it. Oh my god. I love that dish. It reminds me the family meetings with my granny. Yeah, it's well seasoned. Guys, this is comfort food. For winter, it's the best. Enjoy!